So welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Letting Go Live session. I think let's dive straight into another section of the clarification of terms. This one is section 2, and it explains what the miracle and what the ego is and what the miracle is. So let me just share my screen with you. And we'll dive straight into that, and then if we have time, we'll look at today's lesson and finish with a meditation on it. Okay, so there we go. What is the clarification of terms? This is about the definition of the term ego and the miracle by contrast. Okay, so not much to translate here. We're translating. Okay, well, let me read it. Just first one. So because the terminology is the course's terminology is the ego, it uses the ego. So we've translated that as belief in separation and separate self, which are really two sides of the same coin. Yeah, without the belief in separation, you can't have a separate self. The separate self underpins and reinforces the belief in separation. It's kind of the agent of the belief in separation in the world. And then creator, there's one or two others to translate. So illusions will not last.
Illusions will not last.
Their death is sure, and this alone is certain in their world.
Their death is sure, and this alone is certain in their world.
It is the ego's world because of this.
It is the belief in separation's world because of this.
What is the ego?
What is the belief in separation and the separate self it made?
But a dream of what you really are.
Only a dream of what I really am.
A thought you are apart from your creator, and a wish to be what he created not.
A thought I am apart from my source, and a wish to be what it did not extend.
It is a thing of madness, not reality at all.
It is a thing of madness and not reality at all.
A name for namelessness is all it is.
A name for namelessness is all it is.
A symbol of impossibility, a choice for options that do not exist.
A symbol of impossibility and a choice for options that do not exist.
We name it but to help us understand that it is nothing but an ancient thought, that what is made has immortality.
I name it only to help me understand that it is nothing but an...
Sorry, let's scroll it down.
Yeah. An ancient thought that what I made up has immortality.
But what could come of this except a dream, which, like all dreams, can only end in death?
But what could come of this except a dream, which, like all dreams, can only end in death? And from the top, illusions will not last. Their death is sure, and this alone is certain in their world. It is this belief in separation's world because of this. What is the belief in separation and the separate self it made? Only a dream of what I really am. A thought I am apart from my source and wish to be what it did not extend. It is a thing of madness and not reality at all. A name for namelessness is all it is, a symbol of impossibility and a choice for options that do not exist. I name it only to help me understand that it is nothing but an ancient thought that what I made up has immortality. But what could come of this except a dream, which, like all dreams, can only end in death? Just talking about the illusion of separate self. If you believe in that, then, you, like a dream, it'll only end in death. It's a thing of madness, and it's just not reality at all.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can really make sense of it. If you try and make sense of this craziness that passes for a self and the reality that it's created, then you're just going to suffer. You're trying to make sense of what doesn't make sense. And he's saying give that up and let it go and accept that it's just a dream. It's actually an impossible idea. So if you believe in an impossible idea, what can you expect but the impossible and ridiculous and bizarre and strange and weird? And we see all of that in the world, don't we? Just crazy, insane behavior that doesn't really make any sense. And then what we try and do is try and make sense of it.
Yeah.
With our ego mind. Say, well, somehow I've got to try and frame this in a way that makes sense, that then justifies my ego and justifies the world's existence. Instead of just looking at it honestly and saying it doesn't make sense. This thing is mad, it's crazy, it's whatever it's done is unreal, because the foundational thought of separation, the belief in separation, is not real. Anything that comes from that, has that unreal quality to it, illusory quality, because it has to. Things do not leave their source. So if something is created by the ego, then it bears the ego's mark, and that mark is the mark of impermanence, and i.e. death. Nothing the ego makes can be permanent. All right, so happy to go on to number 2. What is the ego?
What is the belief in separation and my separate self?
Nothingness, but in a form that seems like something.
Nothingness, but in a form that seems like something.
In a world of form, the ego cannot be denied, for it alone seems real.
In a world of form, the belief in separation seemingly cannot be denied, for it alone seems real.
Yet could God's Son, as he created him, abide in form, or in a world of form?
Yet could perfect love's extension, as it extends it, live in form or in a world of form?
Could God's Son, as he created him, it could perfect love's extension, as perfect love extends it. Let's make that just a bit clumsy with that. Live in a form, or in a world of form. Okay, that makes more sense. Who asks you to define the ego and explain how it arose? Can be but he who thinks it real, and seeks by definition to ensure that its elusive nature is concealed behind the words that seem to make it so.
Whoever asks me to define the belief in separation or separate self and explain how they arose can only think that they are real, and seek by definition to ensure that their illusory nature is hidden behind the words that seem to make it real.
From the top?
Yeah. What is the belief? Oops, just keeps bouncing back. What is the belief in separation and my separate self? Nothingness, but in a form that seems like something. In a world of form, the belief in separation seemingly cannot be denied, for it alone seems real. Yet could perfect love's extension as perfect love extended live in form or in a world of form? Whoever asks me to define the belief in separation or separate self and explain how they arose can only think that they are real and seek by definition to ensure that their illusory nature is hidden behind the words that seem to make it real. It's just saying that the belief in separation is just nothingness, but in a form that seems like something.
That's the illusion, isn't it? Nothing, because the thought behind it is really illusory, it's unreal. But the mind has made it into something, it's given it a form, it's manifested it. So you've got all of these forms which have no underlying substance. The thoughts behind the thought system behind them is entirely illusory. Which is why I have no form loss, which is why form is unstable and anicca, as you're studying in personal teaching. Everything's anicca, it's impermanent. Why? Because the thought system that gave birth to it is impermanent, is false, and therefore, and false. Remember, falsity and impermanence go hand in hand. How do you tell if something is false? It's impermanent. It doesn't last.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Reality is tied to permanence and the eternal, because it doesn't fade away. It never goes away. That's what makes it reality. So anything impermanent then is a dead giveaway. This is false. It's based on a false idea and a false thought system. And your job is just to see that falsity, identify it as such, and then let it go and recognize that is not reality, and that's not what you choose anymore. And that process of discerning and then choosing is called forgiveness, or letting go in our language. And that's then the way home to the transcendent reality, capital R reality, beyond this world. Okay, happy to move on. So there's no definition. There's no definition for a lie that serves to make it true.
There is no definition for a lie that serves to make it true.
Nor can there be a truth that lies conceal effectively.
Nor can there be a truth that lies effectively conceal.
The ego's unreality is not denied by words, nor is its meaning clear, because its nature seems to have a form.
The belief in separation's unreality is not denied by words, nor is its meaning clear, because its nature seems to have a form.
Who can define the undefinable?
Who can define the undefinable?
And yet there is an answer even here.
And yet there is even an answer in the world of form. From the top, there is no definition for a lie that serves to make it true. Nor can there be truth that lies effectively conceal. The belief in separation's unreality is not denied by words, nor is its meaning clear, because its nature seems to have a form. Who can define the undefinable? And yet there is even an answer in the world of form. Well, they're just talking about the definition of who we think we are, the belief in separation. But of course, it's actually a lie. It's not true. So, and yet in this form, we always seem to have an answer, even though it's not real.
Yeah, not denied by words, because his nature seems, you can define the undefinable. So what we spend a vast amount definable. And the ego's done a pretty good job of that. So we have language, which now describes these things, and forms ideas, concepts in our mind. All of this is part of the illusory construct of the ego to try and convince you that all of this is real. All these concepts are actually real and true. Then he leads nicely into the rest of this section by saying, yet there is an answer even in this world of form. All right. So we go on to number 4. Happy?
Yeah.
So we cannot really make a definition for what the ego is, but we
No.
can say what it is not.
We cannot really make a definition for what the belief in separation is, but we can say what it is not.
And this is shown to us with perfect clarity.
And this is shown to me, with perfect clarity.
It is from this that I deduce all that the belief in separation is.
It is from this that I deduce all that the belief in separation is.
Look at its opposite, and you can see the only answer that is meaningful.
If I look at its opposite, I can understand the only meaningful answer. From the top, we cannot really make a definition for what the belief in separation is, but we can say what it is not. And this is shown to me with perfect clarity. It is from that I deduce all that the belief in separation is. I can understand the only meaningful answer if I look at its opposite.
Yeah. Okay, so what's he saying there?
Well, we cannot really make a definition of this belief in separation, but we can say what it isn't. And it's shown to us with, clarity, perfect clarity.
Yes, it is negative. So we say it's a negative entity. What does that mean? It negates what's true and what's positive and what's light. So darkness has no quality of its own other than to say, well, it's the opposite of light. Darkness is the absence of light. So it's actually defined in terms of what is meaningful, what is real. So I look at its opposite. I see the light. I see love and peace and joy, which we can call the light. And then I look at the opposite of it, and I see a lack of those things. Lack of love, lack of peace, lack of joy, and various thoughts and emotions that now come in that are unpleasant and seem to replace the love, peace, and joy. So if I do that, then I understand the only meaningful answer by looking at the ego, which is why you can't metaphysically ghost your way home. You have to look at it. You look at the darkness, you see it for what it is. And that's not always a pleasant process. But then once you've established in your mind that this really is just an illusion, it's a reality, the higher awareness, positive awareness in your right mind itself comes in a big way. Okay, so happy to go on to number 5.
Yeah.
So the ego is opposite in every way, in origin, effect, and consequence. We call a miracle.
The belief in separation's opposite in every way, in origin, effect, and consequence is called a correction.
And here we find all that is not the ego in this world.
Here is the belief in separation's opposite and here alone, oh, sorry, I jumped to the next one. And here I find all that is not the belief in separation in this world.
Here is the ego's opposite. And here alone, we look on what the ego was. For here we see all that it seemed to do. And cause and its effects must still be one.
Here is the belief in separation's opposite. And here alone, I can perceive what the belief in separation was. For here I understand all that seemed to do, and cause and its effects must still be one.
Yeah, on the top.
Or the belief in separation's opposite in every way, in origin, effect, and consequences, is called a correction. And here I find all that is not the belief in separation in this world. Here is the belief in separation's opposite, and here alone I can perceive what the belief in separation was. For here I understand all that it seemed to do, and cause its effects must still be one.
Okay, well, what's he saying there?
Just again, the belief in separation, opposite, in every way, in origin, effect, and consequences called a correction. So it's just the opposite, yeah. So here we can find that the belief in separation in the world, so the opposite, and here alone can see that the belief in separation was cause and effect and must still be one. So here I understand all that it seemed to do. Cause and effect must still be one.
So I start making these connections. Let's show this diagram briefly of integral model. I start understanding this on an integral level, saying cause and its effects are never separate. So these quadrants, the internal upper left, that's your interior individual mind, states of mind, thoughts, emotions, memories, perceptions, immediate sensations. That and the so-called objective world outside of you, what you experience with your body's senses, anything you can see, feel, touch, taste, and perceive in this world of time and space. You start making the connection, saying, well, if I'm thinking in a certain way, this thought system, I get certain results. And the contour lines show that. If you're at a certain level of thinking, then you're going to get certain manifest results as a result of that. And they align. Now, because if you're in the ego, it's not aligning with your higher self, there will be a dissonance. There'll be okay, I'm not really happy, often with my external circumstances. Then the ego says, well, go fix the circumstances, change the circumstances, or just project the guilt for this out onto someone else and blame them to try and fix the problem. Cause says, no, don't do that. Track it back into the inner mind and see the consequence, see the cause of this consequence, and see that you've actually created this in your own mind through faulty thoughts and emotions. And then once you see that, then you can let it go. So that's visually what he's referring to here. And very necessary, as part of our awakening, that we make these connections. If you think that the world is only physical, what Ken Wilber calls flatland worldview, that only the objective is real, and really there is no mind. The ego's made you mindless, and the reason it does that is because then you can't change your mind. If you're mindless and you're just reacting to the external events, there's no capacity to now change your mind, come to your own decisions. And so very cleverly then it's made you mindless, and it's got you just attached into this false belief that you are a victim of the world, and whatever happens external to you is actually really external. There's not much you can do about most of it. So it's essential that we see the connections, and then we start using what happens in the external to go within and look at these thoughts and emotions and states of mind of the ego, and let go of the ones that need to be let go of. All right. Any other questions on number 5? Should we go to number 6?
Yeah.
So where was the darkness? Now we see the light.
Where there was negative awareness, I now perceive truly.
What is the ego?
What is the belief in separation?
What the darkness was.
What the negative awareness was.
Where is the ego?
Where is the belief in separation?
Where the darkness was.
Where the limited awareness was.
Make that negative awareness. So darkness is just negative awareness. You can even say it like that. Try saying that. I'm not sure there's any more negatives. But when you say it that way, you don't take it for granted.
Mm.
It's like negative. Okay, well, we just say negative, and it's such a common word that we forget what it really means. But if you say it as negative, okay, so this is the awareness that negates the truth that's in my mind. These are thoughts and ideas, a whole thought system, whose only purpose is to negate the truth and try and cover over that truth so completely that you'll never know the truth, and you'll be lost forever in the negative awareness, which it tells you is now your home. This is who you are, it says. So what is it now, and where can it be found?
What is the negative awareness was? Oh, where am I?
All right.
Ah, yes. Where the negative, what is it now, and where
There's
can
an
it be?
error. Let's just fix it. So number 3, what the darkness was. Yeah, what the negative awareness was. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Where's the belief in separation? Where the negative awareness was. Okay, so what is it now, and where can it be found?
What is it now, and where can it be found?
Nothing and nowhere.
Nothing and nowhere.
Now the light has come.
Now,
Its
true.
opposite
Oh, sorry.
sorry,
Yeah.
still the same thing. Now the light has come, its opposite is gone without a trace.
Now the awareness has come, its opposite has vanished without a trace.
Yeah, now true awareness has come, its opposite has vanished without a trace. I don't know what seems to have changed that. Let me just check. There's something, there might be an error here in the original. Modification of terms is what we want. Number 6. No, that's correct. Let's use the capital in the middle of the sentence. somewhat unusual, but that's how it is. So we'll leave it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now the light has come, its opposite is gone without a trace. Number 8.
Yeah. Now true awareness has come, its opposite has vanished without a trace.
Where are we? Number 9. Where evil was, there now is holiness.
Where evil was, there is now pure formless awareness.
What is the ego?
What is the belief in separation?
What the evil was.
What the evil was.
Where is the ego?
Where is the belief in separation?
An evil dream that seemed real while you were dreaming it.
An evil dream that only seemed real while I was dreaming it.
Where there was crucifixion stands God's Son.
Perfect love's extension stands where there was crucifixion.
Perfect love's extension stands where there was crucifixion. That's the whole sentence, yeah?
All right. Perfect love's extension stands where there was crucifixion.
So what is the ego?
What is the belief in separation?
Who needs to ask? Who is need to ask?
Who needs to ask?
Where is the ego?
Where is the belief in separation?
Who has need to seek for an illusion now that dreams are gone?
Who needs to seek for an illusion now that dreams are gone? From the top.
Yeah.
Where there are negative awareness or
Where there
negate,
was negative awareness.
where there was negative awareness.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Len, carry on. I now
Oh,
perceive
I thought you
truth.
said, hang on, sorry. I
No,
now
I said
perceive.
well done. Yeah, negative was
Oh, sorry, I thought you said, hang on,
you just
sorry.
said it well. It makes a difference, doesn't it? When you say negative,
Yes.
it
Mm-hmm.
emphasizes that word. Because negative, we just say negative, we don't even know what it means anymore. So it's
No.
negative thought. No, it's a negative thought. It denies truth. It denies anything that's true and real and positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's darkness, because it negates the light. The darkness has no positive quality of its own. It is purely a negation of the light. And that's how he's training us to perceive it. So the darkness has no reality other than it's an absence of light. But how can something be defined by the absence of something else? So clearly it has no real real reality if it's purely negative. It only exists because it's denied what is. And now you have something that you believe is something else and what is not. But how's that really possible? If you look at the darkness, is there any positive quality there? No, it's just an absence of light. And as soon as the light comes on, the darkness is gone. So how real was the darkness then?
Mm.
And this is the kind of thinking that he's trying to train our minds to think on our own and understand then what's really happening in this world as a result.
Mm.
Yeah, carry on. Where there was negative awareness and I perceive truly.
What is the belief in separation? What the negative awareness was. Where is the belief in separation? where the negative awareness was. Was it now, and where can it be found? Nothing and nowhere. Now true awareness has come, its opposite has vanished without trace. Where evil was, there is now pure formless awareness. What is the belief in separation? What the evil was? Where is the belief in separation? Is an evil dream that only seemed real because I was dreaming it? Perfect love's extension stands where there was crucifixion before. What is the belief in separation? Who needs to ask? What is the belief in separation? Who needs to seek for an illusion now that dreams are gone? So it's just reminding us about this negative awareness, but now we can start to perceive truly. And there's all these questions. What is the belief in separation? What is the negative awareness? Was, and many questions here. And it's just saying that they're nothing and nowhere. And this is then true awareness has arrived, and the other has vanished without trace.
Yeah, so it's very effectively using questions here. He does that quite often in the course. But he's asked how many questions there. Most of that paragraph is questions. Because when you start asking questions, instead of giving us the answer, it means that we have to think for ourselves. Go, okay, so where is it then? Where is this belief in separation? Does it even exist? I may have thought it in the past, but does that make it real? So by the questions, he's starting to question reality, the reality of the ego in your mind, which is obviously necessary to undo the illusions. If you never question illusions, how will you ever be free of them? Which is why open-minded people question and say, well, okay, I'm open. Maybe that's not true. Maybe everything I've been taught isn't necessarily true. And so I'm open to other ideas. And that then allows the Holy Spirit to come in. But if you have a fixed belief system and you're not open to any other ideas, then you're stuck. And you're stuck in the negative awareness, which you believe is then the truth. And I've seen, and you've probably seen as well, as people get older, that's often what happens. They get stuck in it. And now there's no ability to question him. Just, well, this is how it is. This is reality. Well, and saying, well, how do I know it's reality? Who's to say? Maybe what my senses are telling me isn't true. Maybe all the thoughts and beliefs that I've believed so much, maybe that's all just made up. Maybe it's all just in my mind. So he's asking us to, he's asking these questions to start questioning the ego and its foundations, because that's how we undo it. When you start to question something, is the first stage of its undoing, isn't it? You've got to look at whatever it is and say, okay, well, I'm questioning that now. I'm not 100% certain about it anymore. And now I'm open to it's the thought system that you believe in and the world that it's created. So it's who you are and the so-called reality you live in. It's pretty massive. You're starting to question that. Say, well, maybe he has a point here. All right, so then he moves on. What is a miracle? So he's done the first part of this is on the ego.
What is a correction?
So now moves into the counter to that. There's a correction. a dream as well.
Dream as well.
But look at all the aspects of this dream and you will never question anymore.
But if I look at all the aspects of this dream, I will never question again.
Look at the kindly world you see extend before you as you walk in gentleness.
I choose to perceive the kind of world I see extend before me as I walk in gentleness.
Look at the helpers all along the way you travel, happy in the certainty of heaven and the surety of peace.
I choose to perceive all helpers along the way I travel, happy. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'm on number 5, aren't I?
Yeah, happy in the certainty.
Yeah, happy in the certainty of the state of pure formless awareness and the surety of peace.
And look an instant too on what you left behind at last and finally passed by.
And I also look for a moment on what I left behind, at last and finally transcended. And from the top, what is a correction? A dream as well.
Yeah, and then from the top.
Yes, yeah, a dream as well. But if I look at all the aspects of this dream, I will never question again. I choose to perceive the kind of world I see extend before me as I walk in gentleness. I choose to perceive all the helpers along the way I travel, happy in the certainty of the estate of pure formless awareness and the surety of peace. And I will also look for a moment on what I left behind, at last and finally transcended. 2 more questions. What is a correction? It's also a dream. But if we look at aspects of the dream, then we need never question again. So
And we see how beneficent this is. Well, this is really good. You know, this way of living works. I'm much happier, much more peaceful. I'm not living in a world where I feel threatened all the time. I'm perceiving that I've got help and support and guidance along the way. It's not to say there won't be challenges. Well, there will be. But if you frame it from the spirit's perspective, these are all just growing opportunities. These are lessons that you need to learn on your journey that are necessary for your awakening. So they're okay. This is what life is really for. It's not for meeting your ego's desires, having pleasure and avoiding pain. That's not what it's for. It's for learning lessons and awakening to the truth of who you are. And so the miracle starts to show you all that. It starts to reveal this completely different world, different perspective on the world, different thought system that's far happier, more peaceful. And if you experience that, then the contrast between that and the ego's hellish world surely is obvious, because you've done both, and then it's not that difficult to choose between them. But you have to start doing it. So you make the first move, you start letting go, you start allowing these corrections to happen, and then you start seeing how life changes and how things are different. And that's what then convinces you that this teaching must be true. You have to practice it and experience it. Otherwise, it just remains theory. And the ego is going to do its best to make you doubt that theory. So you must apply it. You must apply it by forgiving or letting go of your illusions. That's how you apply the course, and that's how you get the experience that he's pointing to here. And your life gives you those opportunities constantly, which is why they should be welcomed and embraced rather than rejected and pushed away. Okay, so let's carry on, shall we, to number 8. This was the ego. All the cruel hate, the need for vengeance, and the cries of pain, the fear of dying, and the urge to kill, the brotherless illusion, and the self that seemed alone in all the universe.
This was the belief in separation, all the cruel hate, the need for vengeance, and the cries of pain, the fear of dying, and the urge to kill, the friendless illusion that the separate self that seemed alone in all the universe.
Yeah, not a very nice reality. But we have to see the thing with the Course is, he's not sugarcoating the ego's world.
No.
Because if you think it's all somehow okay, then you'll carry on believing it and you'll carry on trying to make it work. So he has to highlight that this really is not good. This is in fact awful. It's hell. So that you become aware of the nature of the ego, and then the obvious choice is to let it go, as a terrible mistake it is. This terrible mistake about yourself, it says, the miracle corrects as gently as a loving mother sings her child to rest.
Sorry, I'm just trying.
Number 2.
Yeah, I'm just. There we go. Oh, keeps bouncing back. Corrections correct this terrible mistake about me as gently as a loving mother sings her child to rest.
Is not a song like this what you would hear?
Is not a song like this what I want to hear?
Would it not answer all you thought to ask and even make the question meaningless?
Does it not answer all thought to ask and even make the question meaningless?
And from the top.
Oh, right. This was the belief in separation, all the cruel hate, the need for vengeance, and the cries of pain, the fear of dying, and the urge to kill, the friendliness, illusion, and the separate self that seemed alone in all the universe. Corrections correct this terrible mistake about me as urgently as a loving mother sings her child to rest.
Gently, that's just gently, you're not urgently.
Oh, yeah, just gently as a loving mother sings her child to rest. Is not a song like this what I want to hear? Does it not answer all I want to ask and even make the question meaningless?
Yeah.
Just talking about the belief in separation and all its hate, cruel hate, its vengeance, its pain, its fear, its dying, its wanting to kill. And yet it's so very alone in this universe. So the corrections come in to correct this terrible mistake. And then they've got the nice analogy about it being like a mother who sings to the child to rest. Does it not answer all I want to ask and even make the question meaningless? Yeah.
We start entering into an experience of grace, of gentleness, of loving kindness. And when you experience these things, you start to come to know there's another reality experientially. It's not like anyone has to tell you, oh, love is there. You feel it, you experience it. And that's part of the whole correction process of the ego. While you're here, you have to start experiencing love and peace and joy instead of the fear and anger and hatred and attack and really disaster that the ego is. If you don't experience any of that here, how are you suddenly going to get it when you die? It's not going to happen, is it? You've only experienced fear and hatred and anger and attack your whole life, and suddenly you die. Suddenly your mind's just going to be at peace and really tranquil and in the state of pure formless awareness. No, It starts here. You have to start correcting your mind in the domain of perception, the ego's domain, to prepare yourself for when you are incorporeal, and then the mind is able to rest in this timeless, peaceful state, because you've trained your mind to do that. It's not jumping all over the place like a mad monkey, the monkey mind. Or jumping bean mind, as they call it in the Buddhist teachings, either one of those. It's not doing that. It's calm, it's still, it's peaceful, because you've trained it to operate that way. And now you have a chance, when your body finally dies, of resting in that calm, still awareness forever, because there's nothing to tempt you to come back into the madness. So then you see this kind of mind training makes huge sense. You need to start learning to rest in this fundamental awareness in your being while you're here. Otherwise, when you die, you have no chance. Your mind's way too caught up in its illusions to just rest there. It's gonna have to come back into a separate self. A restless mind requires that it incarnate into a body and express itself again in a body as a separate self. So it's essential that you learn to come to rest in the still quietness. And that's what the corrections or the miracles do in this world. They are the process of coming to rest again in the still, calm quietness within, and letting go of all the noise. All right. So let's go on. Happy to go to number 9.
Yep.
Your questions have no answer, being made to still God's voice, which asks of everyone one question only. Are you ready yet to help me save the world?
My questions have no answer, being made to silence the remembrance of perfect love's voice, which asks of everyone only one question. Am I ready to help it awaken the world?
Ask this instead of what the ego is, and you'll see a sudden brightness cover up the world the ego made.
If I ask this instead of what the belief in separation is, I will see a sudden brightness cover up the world the belief in separation made.
Change that. Ask this about what the belief in separation is. Instead, I will see a sudden brightness. Okay. No miracle is now withheld from anyone.
Now I will not withhold any conditions from anyone.
Corrections.
Corrections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world is saved from what you thought it was.
Then the world is freed from what I thought it was.
And what it is wholly uncondemned and wholly pure.
And what it is, wholly uncondemned and pure. From the top,
Yeah.
my questions have no answer, being made to silence the remembrance of perfect love's voice, which asks of everyone only one question. Am I ready yet to help it awaken the world? If I ask this about what the belief in separation is instead, I will see a sudden brightness cover up the world the belief in separation made. Now I will not withhold any corrections for anyone. Then the world is freed from all I thought it was, and it is wholly uncondemned and pure.
Yeah. Okay. So what's he saying in that one?
Well, asking questions to silence the remembrance of perfect love's voice, No, the questions have no answer, being made to silence the remembrance of perfect love's voice. So there's only one question to ask. Am I ready to help it awaken the world?
Mm.
But if we ask the belief in separation instead, we'll see that the brightness of the world is covered up by the separation. Belief in separation is made.
Mm.
So we're not going to hold back. So then the world is freed from what I thought it was. And the truth is, it's wholly uncondemned and pure.
Yeah. And what questions you ask? Instead of asking, well, why, why is everything so bad? Why do I suffer so much? Why are people so awful? Why am I sick? And on and on. Am I ready yet to help the Holy Spirit or remembrance of perfect love awaken the world? Much better question. Am I ready yet? Am I up for this?
Mm.
Because now the power's back in your hands. Well, are you ready? And the truth is, if you still want to continue with the ego and believe in yourself as a victim, then you're not ready. And you'll continue to cling to the ego's thought system rather than start the awakening process. And this course is designed to get anyone who's resistant, we're all resistant to a point, to the Holy Spirit's message, to listen. Say, okay, I'm actually ready now. Because that's when the awakening starts. When you're ready and you're willing to undertake the journey, then it starts. If you're not ready, then it must wait until you are ready.
Mm.
And usually that involves pain. A lot of pain is often needed. If people are particularly stubborn, and they need a lot of pain to break them down, to break down the ego and make them open to listen to the Holy Spirit, which is then inevitably what they get, a lot of pain, which is then needed to humble them and then the admission needs to come. Okay, I'm not coping here. I need to find a better way. And when you do that, then the awakening starts in earnest. But as long as you go, no, I got this covered. I don't need Jesus. I don't need the Holy Spirit. I don't need any of this, Course in Miracles and mumbo jumbo rubbish and spiritual teachings and whatever. I've got it handled. My life's actually okay. Well, no openness then. So generally what has to happen is life has to be not okay.
Yeah.
For someone like that to listen, which often happens, So everything's going swimmingly for a while, and then if it's built on the sand, it has in the Yeshua's parable, build your house on not on rock but on the sand of time and space and the ego's foundation, which is very unstable, then it doesn't last, and then it comes crashing down when the winds and the rains and the floods come, i.e. the adversities of the world come, then the house falls. So the thought system, in other words, doesn't sustain against that kind of battering, and that's when often people seek help. But they need a complete breakdown if they're stubborn. If we're wise, we just learn iteratively. Right? Okay, well, yeah, I don't have to, go to the point where everything is totally breaking down. I can just see that it's not working as well. And there is this unhappiness, this dissatisfaction with my life. And so I'm willing to look at other ways and grow without it doesn't have to get, absolutely terrible, like you're on your knees and begging for help. It can just be like a vague kind of disease. I remember when I was playing squash professionally, and I thought I was on track, but I remember being aware of this kind of undercurrent of dis-ease. Like I was never really happy because I was always looking to the future. It was like, well, when I achieve this goal and when I finally achieve my ultimate goal, which is to be a world champion, then I'll be happy. And I sort of became aware of that, although I couldn't really put my finger on it. I hadn't done, the kind of reading and studying as at that point as I have now. So I didn't really understand it fully. But there was a sense of dis-ease. And I remember thinking quite clearly, well, this isn't really, I'm not actually that happy, if I'm honest. I'm striving to achieve this goal, and it kind of drives me. And, anyone looking from the outside say, okay, well, he's motivated. But what am I motivated by? Something in the future, future glory. And really that was going to make my ego identity worthwhile. I had this delusion that the only way I could be worthwhile in life was if I did something extraordinary like that. You have to be number one, and then you're going to be worthwhile. Because I'd been told by my father that I was always just coming on. I'd like win championships and junior championships of the whole country in South Africa, and then I'm just coming on. And so the message that was told was, well, it'll only ever be good enough if you're number one. And so then that's what you seek to do, which obviously is not going to work. And it needed in my case, it needed a complete failure of, I don't know, there was a time where I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I wouldn't say it was full despair, but there was a real sense of deflation, disappointment. When I finally realized, look, this isn't going to happen. You spent 15 years of your life, really going for this and focusing on this goal, and it's not going to happen. You have to be honest and realistic with yourself. And so now what? Unfortunately, I was open enough to question the thought system. Instead of going, oh, well, you're just a failure, I actually went, no, maybe the thought system has failed me. Maybe this idea that, whatever you can conceive and believe you can achieve. Napoleon Hill, The Secret, you can create your reality. Just visualize it, work at it, and, it'll happen. I was like, well, it didn't happen. I really did that to quite a high degree. I was doing all of that. I was meditating on it. I was visualizing it. I was affirming it. I was believing it, and I took action. It wasn't like I just twiddled my thumbs. I was training and playing, and I went to England. I came to England. I was like, okay, well, I need to, get myself into a better position where there's better players and better coaches. I did all that, and I still failed miserably. I just didn't even come close. So then, fortunately, it made me think, well, maybe there's a problem with the whole thought system. And that's when the awakening really started. So, okay, well, am I ready yet to help awaken the world? That was the start of, well, maybe I am. Maybe there's another purpose that's even higher and worthier than I had. And that took me a while to find, but it starts with questioning the existing thought system and saying this ego really has disappointed me. So let me down. And so maybe there's a problem with, that whole thought system and identity. What I'd so identified with this John O'Quail character who was now going to be a champion to justify his existence was just an illusion. I'd believed in that for years, and it didn't really exist. So it was difficult, but I'm really glad in hindsight. I'm really glad I wasn't a champion. I look at it and I go, I'm actually, because I wouldn't have grown as I did, and I wouldn't have gone on this whole spiritual path and gone down this path of awakening to who I really am, which is the whole point of life. If I'd succeeded, I would have got more into that ego self, wouldn't I? It would have been more like, okay, yeah, I actually did it. I'm the man now. I'm the champion. Would have lasted for a few years, and then on the back of that, I could have basked in the glory for another decade or two and gone, yeah, well, I was a champion, and when I won this championships and when I was great, and then and none of what I did probably would have happened. All of the reading and the studying, and so it needed that disappointment to awaken me. So we need the miracles in response to the disappointments of life. the challenges of life to counter the ego and awaken us to something beyond. That's really what he's saying here. All right, so we've done number 9, yeah? Happy with that? Number 10. So the miracle forgives, the ego damns.
Corrections let go, and the belief in separation damns.
Neither need be defined except by this.
Neither need be defined except by this.
Yet, could a definition be more sure or more in line with what salvation is?
Yet could a definition be more sure or more in line with what an awakening is?
Change that to alignment. What awakening is. Problem and answer lie together here. And having met at last, the choice is clear.
Problem and the answer lie together here. Having met at last, the choice is clear.
Who chooses hell when it is recognized?
Who chooses to be a victim when they recognize that this is hell?
And who would not go on a little while from him to understand the way is short and heaven is his goal?
And who would not want to go a little while when they understand the way is short and the state of pure formless awareness is their goal?
And from the top.
Corrections let go, and the belief in separation damns. Neither need be defined except by this. Yet could a definition be more sure or more in alignment with what awakening is? The problem and the answer lie together here. Having met at last, the choice is clear. Who chooses to be a victim when they recognize that this is hell? And who would want to go on a little while they understand the way is short and the state of pure formless awareness is their goal? It's just saying that the miracle or the corrections are let go, and the ego or the belief in separation condemns. So it's saying, could a definition be more sure or more aligned with what awakening is? So the problem and the answer lie together.
Yeah, and our only job is to recognize that the problem and the answer are there. Yeah, I see the problem, it's separation, and I see the answer, which is letting go. And I bring them together, and then the problem can't sustain. But if I think the problem's somewhere else, then I won't do that. If I think the problem is outside of me and it's beyond my control to affect, it's in the world, it's in other people, it's in circumstances and events that are beyond my control, and life is just terrible, I'm a victim of it, and I define the problem in that way, then I'm not open to the answer. I'm not seeing that the answer is right there. The answer lies in letting go of these thoughts and emotions, and then I'll be free of it. Having met at last, the choice is clear. So once you start practicing forgiveness or letting go, and these miracles start happening, you go, well, if it works one time, surely it can work all the time, because it's the same formula. Bring the problem to the answer, where the problem is undone, you find the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, and there's no problem anymore. And in that process of forgiveness, the ego is undone. And then finally he says, who would really choose to be a victim? Who chooses to be a victim when they recognize that this is hell? Why would you do that to yourself when You recognize what you're doing. Okay, well, I'm crucifying myself here. I'm hitting my head against a brick wall. I haven't realized it, but now I do, and I'm hurting myself with this way of thinking, and I can stop it. I actually have the power to stop it. I've been given the answer. If I don't use it, then I'm just an idiot. Then Yeshua is saying to us, well, I can't really help you. If you want to be an idiot and you just keep bashing your head against a brick wall, I'm telling you to stop, and you won't listen, then I can't help you. You have to be willing to listen and apply what I'm saying, which surely is just common sense. You start reading these teachings and applying them, it becomes more and more common sense. You're like, why doesn't everyone know this? It's because everyone's asleep. Most people are asleep and are in this totally upside down thought system that denies all this. That seems to be logic and it seems to make sense in this world, but it doesn't make any sense if you really look at it. Who would choose to be a victim of a cruel external world when you could let all that go and find this state of pure formless awareness in which everything is whole, complete, perfect, and there's no pain or suffering or death. And so who would not want to go on a little while when they understand the way is short and the state of pure formless awareness is their goal? That's quite significant, because there's a tendency to say, well, I just want out. I want to get out of the dream. In fact, he says at another point in, I think, one of the workbook lessons, I don't want to stay an instant more here. Choose not to stay an instant more where I'm not at home. But here he's saying, okay, well, you can go on a little while when you understand the way is so short, that this is your last lifetime and you just need to learn a few more lessons, which you're in the process of learning. Okay, so that's manageable. You can do that. You can stay here for another 10, 20, 30 years and learn your lessons, and then you're done. Okay, well, that's all right. I don't need to short circuit the process by doing anything dramatic like committing suicide or killing myself in another way. I can go on and carry on this road and be reasonably happy while I'm here and learn my lessons. And more, every day I'm advancing to this goal of pure formless awareness. I'm getting closer to it in my own awareness. So it becomes a very present goal. It's not some far distant or one day when ultimately in the future. It's like, no, right now, aspect of the state, because I'm feeling more peaceful. My mind is calm. My mind's not chattering away anymore. I'm fairly calm. I'm fairly quiet. I'm in a state of flow. These are all part of the awakening process. Okay, so let's do the summary, and then we've probably got time for the lesson as well. Should be good. So just read it, summarize it briefly for a minute or two after each paragraph.
Are we doing one paragraph each?
Yeah, can do if you like.
Shall I start?
You can start, yeah.
Illusions are transient, and their end is the only certainty in a world dominated by the belief in separation. This belief is merely a dream, the thought I am distinct from my source, which is madness and not reality at all. It is just a name for something that is actually nameless, and a symbol for the impossible. By naming it, I can understand that it is no more than an old thought with no life except in dreams that must end in death. Just saying that the illusions are transient, and their end is the only certainty of a world dominated by the belief in separation. It's all a dream, and we thought we were distinct from our source, which it's saying is madness and not reality.
It's an impossible dream, really. You got caught up in an impossible dream. The dream now seems to be real. The impossible seems to have happened. but it remains an impossible dream, and that's why the world doesn't work, because it's an impossible idea that's been acted on, projected out, made manifest into the so-called reality, which is based on an impossible idea. So what do you expect? But then a very difficult reality. This is why things don't work here. And we've all had that sense of being utterly frustrated with the world. It's like it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show you this quickly. In the Arts Letting Go course manual, if you recall this, where are we? There we go. It's one of these cubes. So if you look at that, the one on the right, which is called the impossible cube, and you try and make sense of that, you can't. No matter how hard you look at it, which angle you look at it from, it doesn't make sense. It defies the laws of physics. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So life's a bit like that impossible cube. If you look at it coming out of the picture, it also is impossible, because that should be at the bottom, but it's actually at the top. If you look at it this way, this one should be behind, but it's in front. And whichever way you look at it, it's just impossible. And now imagine a reality based on that impossibility. And now you're trying to make this reality work. And you're trying to see the logic, and you're trying to make it work. Instead of just seeing it, you have to zoom out from the Holy Spirit's perspective and see it for what it is. It's just impossible. It's an impossible cube. It's an impossible idea, and you'll never make it work. So let it go. Don't try and find an answer within the construct of impossibility, because you're only going to be frustrated. That's what he's really saying here. Okay, so in form, the belief in separation and separate self it made up appear to be real. But they are really nothing. Only those who perceive them as real ask questions about what they are, to hide their illusory nature behind definitions. Yet no lie can be truth is not hidden by lies. I cannot define something indefinable, but by understanding what it is not, I can perceive what it really is. Okay, so summary of that.
Just saying, in form, the belief in separation appear to be real, but really it's nothing. But those who see it as real ask questions about what are they, to hide their illusory nature behind definitions. Yeah. So
think of how we do that in the world. There's all these systems of thought, and people get very, very into these, particularly if they bright intellectual. Often they go down the rabbit hole of science, quantum physicist, or philosophy, or maybe they seek it in something like medicine, or some specialization, and they learn the thinking of the world. They learn all of this. And by all that learning, they're seeking to cover over the underlying doubt of the ego that this is real. And so all these definitions and these laws and these rules and these legal codes and concepts, all of that is the sense of a separate self that's actually here. And it's now got to work with all these things and find a way to live in a world that really doesn't make any sense. And so this is the ego's approach, whereas the Holy Spirit just says, well, look at it all, see that it's impossible. Don't try and define the impossible. Just see it for what it is. It's impossible, and leave it at that. And don't get caught up in the illusions. Zoom out of them and see them for what they are, and transcend them. Remain above the battleground of them. Okay, so third paragraph. You want to read that?
The correction is the complete opposite of the belief in separation. By observing the opposite, I recognize all that the belief in separation is not. The absence of negative awareness, I now perceive truly. The belief in separation is nothing and nowhere. And where there was once this belief, now there is only pure formless awareness. So it's just saying we've come to a point where we can no longer believe in this belief in separation. And in the absence of the negative awareness, we now perceive truly, because the belief in separation is nothing. And so once there was a belief, it's now only pure formless awareness.
Yeah, so by letting go of negative awareness, what's going to remain? Just the awareness that it negated, logically. What is positive, the light we call it, then remains. If there's no darkness and there's no negation, then you've only got the light of this true awareness, which was always there. It was just being negated by you. So you must deny the negation. You must negate the negation to get back into pure awareness. And interestingly, in mathematics, two negatives make a positive. I always wondered why that was the case.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, why? Because spiritually, when you negate the negation, you deny the denial of truth, then you back in the positive. So negative and negative makes positive. That kind of makes sense now, that mathematical law, which it never did before, but now it does. And they could never explain that. I think I asked that question once to my maths teacher. Said, I don't know, just accept it. That's the way it is. So I don't know, but there's a spiritual reason why it's the way it is. So imagine if teachers were teaching like that. How interesting people.
It would.
Yes. Oh, okay. Suddenly kids were, oh, wow. You deny the denial, then you're back in the positive. Anyway, let's carry on, shall we? So correction 2 is a dream, but one that shows me a kinder world and reminds me of my journey toward peace. It gently resolves the painful mistakes of my belief in separation, answering my deepest questions by helping me understand they are meaningless.
Yeah. So it's
And
just
what's he
saying,
saying there?
well, it's just saying the correction also is a dream, but it is a one that's showing us the way, I suppose, in a more gentle, kinder way.
It's the way out of the dream. So if you're caught up in a dream, you're in this matrix. There needs to be a way out. So you are now threading your way through the maze of this world to get out. You're still in the dream, but your goal is to get out the dream. And you're progressing towards that. And with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, which is the guide that pure formless awareness of perfect love has given you to escape from the matrix and to guide you out of the dream. And now you have a worthy purpose. Now you have the only real purpose there is in this world, which is awakening from the dream, escape from hell. And that is a meaningful, worthwhile purpose and cause to dedicate your life to, and to help other people to accept that for themselves as well. All right, so next one, by stopping my questions.
By stopping my questions, I will hear the remembrance of perfect love's voice asking if I am ready to help awaken the world. With this question, brightness covers the old world and no correction is withheld. The world is then pure and free. So it's just saying that we stop our questions, we'll hear the remembrance of perfect love's voice and ask if we are ready to help awaken the world. So with this question, brightness covers the old world and no correction is withheld. The world is pure and free.
Yeah. Very simple. You stop questioning and you start. Faith is the end of questions. You know, true faith is not just dogmatic belief. It's I know. Carl Jung at the end of his life, you know, someone said, "Do you
Oh,
believe in?"
yes. Mm,
He said, "No, I don't believe. I know
mm,
God." So it goes to a different level of experiential knowing the more you practice. And that's really what faith is. It's not, oh, I've just decided, you know, rigidly fixed to believe in this dogma that I've been taught, and I won't change my mind. It's no, I've gone on my journey and I've had my own experiences. And those experiences have taught me that there is something else besides this world. And I have no doubt now. Okay, so ultimately, corrections release and the belief in separation condemns. This is all the definition needed, aligning perfectly with awakening. Faced with the truth, I no longer choose victimhood, recognizing the journey is brief and the state of pure formless awareness is my destination. So what's he saying there?
well, this is it. We've now, in the truth, corrections are released. And no longer need to choose victimhood. And know the journey is brief. And that the state of pure formless awareness is our destination. So we no longer need to believe in this false separate self and become a victim.
Yeah. The choice to be a victim becomes ridiculous. Like I'm choosing to victimize myself. But how can I be a victim if I'm choosing it? You can't. If you realize you're choosing it, then the state of victimhood is over because you're doing it to yourself. This is a realization you fights tooth and nail to prevent you from having. By the way, that's what's so addicted to the victim identity and oh, someone else has done this to me. Because as soon as you go, no, I'm doing it to myself, the victimhood is over. You can't justify it anymore. You're like, no, I've done this to myself. So why don't I stop doing it then? You know, that's the next logical question. If I'm doing it to myself, then how do I stop doing it? And the Holy Spirit comes in with answers. Well, just let it go. Just stop thinking those destructive, negative thoughts and emotions, and then you start changing it, and you no longer then are the victim of this seemingly cruel world you see. And then it's the beginning of the end for the ego, and so the ego is desperate to maintain you as a victim, and then it uses the external world to trigger you. You know, as you saw the other day, it's like, okay, trigger. Why? Because it wants you to remain a victim.
Yes.
And not realize, well, actually, this is within my power control. Yes, the external world might ping me, but I can choose how I want to perceive it. I don't have to react. I don't have to get upset. I have the power to control my reactions to this, and that's the only freedom we still have in this world. You know, you can choose how you want to perceive it, and then how are you going to react to it. Okay, so key message.
I recognize the ego or belief in separation as a transient, unreal illusion. By accepting my true awareness, I can see through the dream of separation and find release and purification through corrections. This journey of awakening leads me toward the ultimate state of pure formless awareness, that is, the journey's purpose and end.
Okay, kind of a nice overview. You want to just
we're just
summarize in your own words.
We now realize that the belief in separation is transient and unreal. So once that's happened, we can accept our true self in awareness and see through all of this dream and find release through corrections. And so the journey of awakening leads us towards our true self, the state of pure formless awareness.
Yeah, which is inevitable in the end. But you know, your choice right now, every moment is, am I awakening by letting go, or am I believing in the ego and getting stuck in the dream? Those are the choices. And any difficult situation, if you face with any choice that there's a trigger, you're feeling some of the negative thoughts and emotions of the ego come up, then that's another choice, to awaken or to stay asleep. And if you make the right choices, then you start awakening more and more. And this course is just training us to do that. Okay, we'll just keep making right-minded choices about the circumstances, events in this world, and inevitably you must awaken, and the miracle then starts to become your reality rather than the ego and its victimhood and suffering. Okay, so all good. Ego contrasted with, I quite like the way he's done these, because he contrasts it, doesn't he? He says it's the ego versus the miracle. So you always have the counterpoint to it. Just going to save that. So we made a few changes. The great thing about these sessions is, every time we do it, it gets refined.
Oh, it does. It sinks in deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and just the text as well, like for other people. It's like, okay, well, you clarifying things, you cleaning it up, you making sure that it's as clear as it can possibly be, so that now you've got something you can really learn from, hopefully. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. We've got half an hour to do the lesson. Shall we do that? Short lessons, so 10, 15 minutes on that, and then a meditation to end.
Yeah, okie doke.
Oh, all right, so let's have a look at today's lesson, 268. We'll skip what is the body. We don't have time for that. Essentially, just to summarize that in 30 seconds, this is just saying that the body is a dream. It's a prison that your mind has put itself in to perpetuate the illusion of a separate self, but you can change the purpose of it. So instead of believing in that story that you're a separate self and the body is a victim and it's doomed to suffer and die, you can believe instead that it's here to awaken you, that through the body and your experiences in the body, you can now free your mind and you can free others. And so it's repurposed for the Holy Spirit's purpose, which is awakening instead of crucifixion. Okay, so that's very 1 minute summary of what is the body. But once you get good at this, then you can just go, oh, okay, yeah, what is the body? Yeah, the body is just a dream, but it can be repurposed. Okay, got that. It usually takes several readings before you'll just get it, but it's the key message is actually quite simple.
Straightforward, yeah.
Maybe I must actually next year, maybe I must do some summaries of these. What do you think? Would it be helpful to have a summary of what is the body?
Oh yes, yeah.
Maybe I must do that. Put it in.
A bit more easy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe for the rest of the course, I'll do that when we get to the next section. The next insert is in a couple of days' time, I think. I'll do that. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Let's if you can read the original and alternative version of the key idea of the lesson in that slide.
Yeah. Let all things be exactly as they are. I let everyone and everything be exactly as they really are. Yeah, that's a good lesson.
Yeah, well, this is equanimity, isn't it? This is saying, well, I'm seeing what it really is, not the illusion of what's presenting, but what it really is on an underlying level, exactly as they are. I added in really are, just to emphasize that it's not what they seem to be. It's what they really are underneath that level of ego that you need to see, which is usually obscured. Most people don't know who they are, so they may well be acting.
They'll have their character,
playing out their ego. They don't know that, but you can know that. You can see who they really are, and you can respond from that level of awareness, which is what the lesson's suggesting. I just let everyone and everything be. I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to try and judge and condemn and manipulate and control and change and fix and all those things that the ego tries to do. I'm not going to try and do that anymore. I'm just going to perceive correctly that everyone is actually pure and holy and innocent, irrespective of of how they behave.
Just turn into a book.
Because that is the ultimate truth.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll read. This is the prayer. We're starting with the prayer that's part of all these workbook lessons that are part of part 2 of the workbook. So sometimes he leads in with the prayer. Sometimes he starts with the commentary. Today it's leading with the prayer. So let me not be your critic, Lord, today and judge against you.
My source, I will not be your critic today and judge against you.
Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms.
I will not attempt to interfere with your perfect being and distort it into sickly forms.
Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity and thus to let it be as you created it.
I am willing to let go of my wishes that contradict its unity and so let it be as you extend it.
For thus will I be able to recognize myself as you created me.
For so I will be able to recognize myself as you extend me.
In love was I created, and in love will I remain forever.
In love, I am extended in love, and I will remain forever.
What can frighten me when I let all things be exactly as they are?
What can frighten me when I let everything and everyone be exactly as they really are?
Okay, and then from the top.
My source, I will not be your critic today and judge against you. I will not attempt to interfere with your perfect being and distort it into sickly forms. I am willing to let go of my wishes that contradict its unity and so let it be as you extend it. For so I will also be able to recognize myself as you extend me. In love, I live eternally, and in love, I will remain forever. What can frighten me when I let everything and everyone be exactly as they are? So it's just saying that, from today to not judge, because our source is our perfect being. And so we won't distort it into these sickly forms. And we're willing to let go of this. And this is the way we want to remain forever, not to be frightened. And just to let everything, the last sentence says it all. Let everything and everyone be exactly as they really are.
And not judge them. See how the distortions come in when our ego gets involved and says, oh, no, this person is this, and this person is this, and this one's done this, and this one's deserving of love, and this one's not. And then you're seeing them as something that they're not. You're not letting them be exactly as they really are. So it takes a lot of mind training to get into the state of perfect equanimity. What he's saying here is a statement that if you lived this, you would be perfectly equanimous. Because nothing would bother you, would it? I let everyone and everything be exactly as it really is. Okay, fine. It already is that. I don't need to judge anything else. None of that's real. And I just rest in a very peaceful state because I'm just perceiving what's true. Yeah, the theory is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And not easy though to live that, but that's the practice.
Well, I'm getting
It's
it.
practice.
I'm getting tested now. I'm just sitting next to my dog, and there's a big puddle of wee on the sofa. Just a big puddle, and it's on the sofa. So never mind. I shall get it all cleaned up and let everything be as it is.
Yeah, and let's see the dog is whole, complete, and perfect. Anyway.
Yeah, she's just her old form starting to obviously decay. I think I'm actually sitting on the wee. Yeah. Oh well, never mind. But I shall repeat. Yeah, let everything be as it is.
Don't let it piss you off.
No, oh, that good one. That was quick. Yeah.
Oh, funny. Yeah. So let's go on to number 2 then.
Yeah.
Let not our sight be blasphemous today, nor let our ears attend to lying tongues.
I will not let my physical sight deceive me today, not let my ears listen to lies.
Only reality is free of pain.
Only reality is free of pain.
And notice that's a capital R. So again, the capitalization tells you that this is level 1. We're talking about level 1 reality. In God, there's no pain. Only reality is free of loss.
Yeah, only reality is free of loss.
Only reality is wholly safe.
Only reality is wholly safe.
And is only this we speak today.
And I choose to perceive only this today.
From the top.
I will not let my physical sight deceive me today, nor let my ears listen to lies. Only reality is free of pain. Only reality is free of loss. Only reality is wholly safe. And I choose to perceive only this today. Yeah, I second that.
So these are beautifully simple statements.
Oh,
just in a couple of paragraphs, we've got a prayer, we've got all these affirmations. Only reality is safe. Only reality is free of loss. Only reality is free of pain. And so I choose to perceive only this today. These are really affirmations, aren't they? What he's doing is the affirmation training. So the more you say these things, if you practice this hourly, let's say, you're doing a set of affirmations throughout the day about the kind of reality you want, about the kind of reality
the usual
you're choosing.
monkey mind, yeah.
And you're disciplining the monkey mind and saying, okay, well, if I'm thinking about things that involve pain and loss, and I'm fearful and I'm anxious, and all of these monkey mind activities, this just stops that. Says no, seek only reality. Look beyond this to a state of mind in which you're just perfectly peaceful and happy. And none of these thoughts and emotions really mean anything. And that is an available choice in every moment to you. It's right there. This is a metaphysical practice where one day, if you really get lucky, you'll be enlightened. It's right here, right now.
Yeah.
You can make that choice.
Yeah.
For reality, right in the moment. In fact, it is only ever now, because there is no future. So if you're not making it right now to some indeterminate future date, which is unlikely ever to happen, the more you put it off, the more you will put it off. And enlightenment's always in the future.
It'll never happen, yeah.
Say right now, reality is safe, no matter what's going on in your life. Right now, reality is free of pain. Right now, reality is free of loss. It's all here right now for you. If you're just willing to let go of these illusions that you so desperate to hold on to, and then you will start to experience this right now. So very direct. It's a very direct path into the mind, into your true awareness right now, which is why it's very effective, why it works. And he's saying, well, every hour, practice this. Go into the now for a few minutes and just connect with this and remind yourself that reality that is painless, that is free of loss, that is wholly safe, is right here, right now. And that in this moment of the practice, you perceive it and you experience it. And so you're dipping into this true reality with a capital R frequently through the day. And then you start learning experientially as you do that. Okay, this is there. It is there and I'm experiencing it. I've got to make the effort to go there. If you don't create that time, then usually what happens is the ego is in charge and you're just in the normal stream of thoughts and you're not connecting with true reality and reminding yourself of it. And so then you've maybe got the morning and an evening practice, but in between you go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm saying don't do that, practice, practice, practice. Connecting. Some teachers say, well, you don't need to practice because you already are that. But I disagree. He's giving us he's giving us the lessons because he's saying, well, you do need to practice. That's the whole point. This course is not given to those who are already enlightened. This course is given to those who are still awakened systematically and progressively, day by day, moment by moment. If you keep practicing this, he's saying you will get there eventually. Can't say exactly how long it's going to take, but you're moving in the right direction, and you're spending the time connecting with your source. When you do these lessons, if you do them effectively, in those few minutes, you're connecting with your source, experiencing this transcendent reality with a capital R, which is then punctuates your day with this true reality, and you now start to live more and more in the real world because this reality starts to become more your default, and you start to then perceive the things and people and circumstances and events of this world from that perspective of that reality because you're accessing it all the time. But if you totally deny it and you're not in it at all, then of course you're going to choose the ego's reality and you're going to perceive things from that default perspective. Okay, so that's the lesson. Practice well. The idea is to practice this as often as you can in the day, every hour ideally, to really top yourself up and just go into this reality and actually give yourself that experience as frequently as you can during the day, as well as the longer meditations, which then establish you for 10, 20 minutes in this experience. And those are invaluable as well because you can go deeper than you can in a few minutes. So that's what we'll do now. Should we do a meditation on it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, you okay to go till like 10 past?
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. That's good.
Cool. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a meditation on today's workbook lesson 268. We're on to, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting in your favorite meditation posture, the feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, cup your hands on your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. You're breathing in, you're noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile, scan your mind. And notice any thoughts and emotions that are at all untoward. If there's any negative thought or emotion that negates your peace, your happiness, your joy, notice that. Bring it to mind. Breathe in and invite a higher awareness to come in with this phrase, let all things be exactly as they are, or stated in alternative language as an affirmation, I let everyone and everything be exactly as they really are. And you're being asked to look beyond the form of these things. So whatever the circumstance is, the person, place, event, circumstance. Look beyond that right now to what it really is. You do that by letting go. So breathe in again. Just be aware of any of those negative thoughts and emotions. It might just be a slight fear, some anxiety. It might be irritation, anger, boiling up into outright rage. It might be jealousy. It might be sadness, depression, whatever it is. Just observe, breathe in and observe all this. And remind yourself that you can let it all go. You can let everyone and everything be exactly as they really are, which is not this negative awareness. So you and they are not fearful, angry, upset, jealous, and so on. None of these illusions really apply at all. They're just made up by the mind. Try and convince you that they're real. So it helps you, beautiful golden or white light into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. So I let everyone and everything be exactly as they really are right now. When you exhale on the truth of that, and have a sense of just letting go of any darkness. Blow it all out with the breeze of your breath, as in it's like a dark cloud or black smoke leaving you. It's going, gone. All the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you rest. And you rest in God. Now listen to these words. This is a prayer to your source, this higher awareness in you. I'll read it to you in the alternative. And just repeat after me. So you say it as an affirmation and repeat it aloud to yourself for maximum effect, or just silently in your own mind, but try saying it aloud. So breathing in, just deep breath in, invite the source that you're addressing into your awareness. Say, my source, I will not be your critic today and judge against you. My source, I will not be your critic today and judge against you. So let go of that energy of condemnation, criticism, judgment. Just blow it out. Imagine it's leaving you like a dark cloud or a black smoke. Blowing it out with the breeze of your breath to nothingness that it really is. Feeling a sense of relief and freedom. I will not attempt to interfere with your perfect being and distort it into sickly forms. So any sickness that you perceive is current in your mind, just remind yourself you don't want to interfere with being by meddling in these distorted, sickly forms. I'm willing, as you breathe in again, I'm willing to let go of my wishes that contradict its unity. So I'm willing to let go of my wishes that contradict its unity. And so let it be as you extend it. So let it be as you extend it. Extend it from the source. So I will also be able to recognize myself as you extend me. Breathing in with self, the light of truth, truthful awareness. In love, I am eternally extended. To feel that as you breathe in. This loving awareness is eternally there. You are eternally connected to, extended from this loving awareness. And loving awareness. I'm eternally extended. And in love, I will remain forever. What can frighten me? When I let everything and everyone be exactly as they really are. Ask yourself that question. What can really frighten me? When I can let everything and everyone be exactly as they really are. Ask yourself that question, wait for the answer. The answer is surely obvious. There's nothing that can frighten you if you acknowledge only the true reality in everything. So now let's finish with an affirmation. Breathing in again. So I will not let my physical sight deceive me today. Nor let my ears listen to lies. Only reality is free of pain. So breathe in this transcendent, painless reality. Just resting in this peace. It's also free of loss. I say only reality is free of loss. Only reality is wholly safe. So breathe in this freedom, this safety to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is wholly safe in the light. And it is only this I choose to perceive today. So I choose to perceive only this today. So just rest in this reality with a capital R. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. No more affirmations to say. No more practices to do. Just be in this reality for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. Sit and watch. Be watchful, be mindful. Surrendering into true reality, going deeper and deeper with each breath. Let the breath carry you deeper into another state of consciousness or mind. Any thoughts come up, seem to disturb your peace, just observe them. Remind yourself that I let all things be exactly as they really are. Let everyone and everything in the situation be exactly as it really is. So I don't need to judge it. I don't need to condemn it. I don't need to try and fix it, change it. I just need to see that underneath the illusion of form is true reality, which is always whole, complete, perfect. And then you just let go of any negative energies. Just letting go of anything that disturbs this deep peace, even subtly. Just remind yourself that I let it all go. And so I let everything be as it really is. It's really just one with true reality. Sinking down and inwards and deeper to true reality of the kingdom of heaven, state of pure formless awareness. And just rest in that state for a couple of minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back onto an awareness of your body and the breath and the senses in the world. And on the count of three, open your eyes. So one, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils, and pause at the top of the inhale. And you smile, just looking around. Noticing thoughts, emotions. Nice body sensations. Anything that's still at all difficult, negative, unpleasant, just remind yourself that I let everything and everyone be exactly as they really are. Exhale on the truth of that. Notice how the air flows out, the chest and the stomach suck back in. Just resting the gap between breaths, the bottom of the exhale, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling. Your hands and touching, maybe there's a subtle taste in the mouth. Smell in your nose. And just noticing all these things. It's a very calm, still, detached way. There's no attempt to judge or name or label any of it. Just seeing the underlying reality, the equanimity beyond appearances. That's what these mind training exercises we do at the end of these meditations are designed to do. Just letting things be exactly as they are, the actual practice of that. So just notice whatever your senses are telling you, what you're touching, feeling, tasting, smelling, and hearing equanimously, without judgment, without moving your mind anywhere. Your mind is just still and calm and peaceful and quiet. So just anchor this state in, this reality, capital reality, into your awareness for the rest of so now on the count of 3, open your eyes. So just taking a minute just to look around, use a minute just to ground yourself back into this world, but you remain in this very peaceful, calm state. As you look around, remind yourself that I just let everyone and everything be exactly as they really are. So I don't judge by appearances. The underlying essence, the being of everything is what this is asking you to connect with. What it really is in truth beyond all illusions. If you stay in that perception, and nothing can upset you, nothing can hurt you. It's only your judgment that it's something other than what it is that's the problem. Even if people behave in crazy, insane, outrageous, hurtful ways, they are still as they really are. They haven't really changed. So you can let it go and you can acknowledge only the reality. So just anchor the state in. Notice how it feels. You feel very calm, very peaceful, very connected. And you can carry on, not a lot of mind thoughts, mind chatter going on. You can carry on in this connected, peaceful way for the rest of the afternoon and evening to top you up. If you need to practice today's lesson again, Yeshua recommends frequent, shorter practice periods for a minute or 2 every hour. You can use the 3-minute breath break that I posted to the group this morning to help you in that regard, or just bring it to mind and spend a few moments just meditating on it yourself. And that should keep you connected to the reality that it's pointing to, which is free of pain, free of loss, wholly safe. And that's all that you choose for today, which is my wish for you. So thank you, Elaine, for joining, and that brings us to the end of the meditation and the session.
Great. Very good.
Okay, so keep practicing, stay in flow, and I'll see you tomorrow. Do you want to do a session tomorrow? I don't mind, by the way, in the next few weeks. We've got about, 5 weeks till Christmas, something like that. Just do some extra sessions because I'm going to take a week's break. So if you build up some credits, I don't mind. If you want to do 4 sessions this week, that's fine.
Okay, we'll go with the flow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow evening we can do a session.
Tomorrow
Good work.
evening, because I'm out tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okey-doke.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. That's great. See you then.
See you then. Thanks,
Have a
Elaine.
good day. Bye. Bye.
Must say bye for now.
Oops.
Okay, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine for joining. If you enjoyed the session, you watched it on the live stream, then do subscribe. If you're not already a subscriber, you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is 3 or 4 times a week. And also then catch the recordings as well if you don't get the live stream at any time. You can also, if you'd like to join us in these sessions, go to lifepool.com, sign up there to a Telegram group that I've created, and you can get access to these sessions on the Telegram messages that I send. Send out some great resources, a daily inspirational quote, and some commentary on that, the daily workbook lesson in an alternative language, as well as you saw the translations, which help people to understand and get a bit more of experiential understanding of these profound lessons. We deal with a section of the text, or now we into the other bits and pieces like the clarification of terms. We'll get onto the manual for teachers shortly. And so you'll get a document of that as well as a lesson and some meditations. So a longer meditation, 15-20-minute meditation on the lesson, as well as a shorter breath break to help you practice the lesson frequently during the day. So all of that's actually freely available, and you can join these live calls. In Zoom, you'll be notified of the live calls and get everything else via Telegram. Go to lifepool.com, just enter your details, name and your mobile number. You'll need to have Telegram downloaded on your mobile device so that you can then access the group, and I'll add you to the group. So I hope you'll do that. I hope you'll take the next step to your awakening and to connect with you on the inside of one of these sessions or the group soon. Thanks for watching or listening, and namaste, which means the truth in me acknowledges and honors that same truth in you. And I'm wishing you much love, peace, joy, and safety in that transcendent reality.